Hey guys, welcome back. We are moving along here with the 1978 Suzuki DR370. If you'd watched the last video, you'd seen we got this thing running with only a couple kicks. Fired right up. I just couldn't get it to idle, but I'm going to try to get that sorted possibly in this video with the carb. I might have to take it off and get a little deeper cleaning on it, but we're going to try to let it run because I have a feeling that the exhaust is a little bit plugged up still from something living in there. So I don't know if you saw in the video, whenever I revved it up, it blew out little pieces of like acorn and stuff in there. So it tells me that a chipmunk or something got into the exhaust and hopefully isn't mummified in here, because I have a feeling this is kind of blocked up. So I might let it run a little longer and see if it cleans itself out, because I have a feeling that is a bit clogged. Going to address the fuel tank. Going to get the vinegar soak in here. You can see it's not horrible, so a little distilled vinegar in there for a day or so. Swash it around, should clean that up. We will address the lights. I just kind of mocked up the lights. I just threw these on here. I don't have anything hooked up or bolted down, as you can see. I just wanted to kind of get a look at what it's going to look like when it's done. I got the taillight on the back here too. So luckily this, like I said, I found this at Vintage Days a couple years ago, and it's the same exact bolt pattern. It actually came off of a DS80, I think. So should be able to get this to work. There is a hole underneath here that the wires will go through too. So you can see they're going down that way. So that's going to work. We're going to get some paint on the fender too. See, that looks pretty shabby. That'll brighten up the look of this bike pretty good whenever that's silver. And I'll probably paint the fender silver in the front too, because that's what that's supposed to be. You can just barely see some left over there. Gonna get the brakes addressed. This one was kind of sticking, but it's not anymore. So I don't know if I'm gonna take that off. I'm gonna lube it up a little bit more, but it seemed to be okay now. I can push it forward and back and hit the brake and it doesn't stick. So we might leave that be. The tires are holding air, so there's really no need to take that off just yet. Same with the front, still holding air. But the front brake will need addressed. I think it just needs adjusted right here. There's just way too much, so it's not really grabbing it. So we'll just pull this up a little bit and that should take care of that. And yeah, then it's time to hopefully try to ride this in the woods. I can tell this thing's gonna be a torque monster. I'm getting a lot of feedback on my last video with this bike. It's pretty cool to hear from the guys that own these things back in the day, because there's not many of them. I guess it was a 2-year run, they were saying, for the DR370. So should be pretty fun to get that back here and put this tractor to the test again. All right, enough talk. I'm going to get the fuel tank back off. And we're going to get some vinegar in there first. We're going to take the fuel petcock off because this seems to be okay. But obviously, if you soak that vinegar with the pot metal, it'll eat this away. So we're gonna pull this off and then seal that bottom up. Throw some vinegar in the tank, let that soak. While that's soaking, we'll address the other things. So let's get started. Like I said, I got nothing bolted down. I just kind of mocked it back up here to see how she looked when she's all together again. Okay, looks like we got two 10 millimeters here that I hope I can get this wrench on. I don't trust using a Phillips on there. Hopefully these come off. Okay, that was on there loose. That one too, okay. Some of the Yamahas I've done in the Hondas have just screws on there, so you can't get a wrench on them, so you gotta use an impact screwdriver sometimes. It gets a little nerve-wracking whenever those screw heads don't want to come out, because then you start rounding it out and then it gets stuck in there and then you gotta chisel it out, and not fun. These little seals have seen better days on there. This one didn't even have one. That's gonna need replaced. That actually looks pretty good. It's torn down at the bottom a little bit, but I've seen much worse ones, so I guess that's what happens when gas isn't sitting on there for years on end. So luckily it was drained out, so That's promising. We'll get this sealed up, and then I'm going to put some vinegar in here. So I was looking at the inside again, and it's in really pretty good shape. I'm not even going to put screws in there. Sometimes I'll put screws in there and nails and stuff to shake around if it looks scaly. But really, it's just surface rust, so I probably don't even need the vinegar, but I'm going to put it in there anyway, just without anything in there, because I think it's just going to need a little bit of a soak. Slosh it around a little bit, and then we will flush it out with baking soda and distilled water. So in case you're wondering, this is just store-bought distilled vinegar, and get it at pretty much any grocery store. Okay, we got that filled to the brim there. I'm gonna let that sit for a day or two. And I got it in a tub here just in case it decides to leak, so it's not gonna go all over the place. And you can reuse the vinegar. I do strain that and dump it out and reuse it for the next tank. I usually a couple times it'll last. So if you're gonna get the vinegar, you can reuse that for other tanks, so keep that in mind so you don't waste it. Okay, this is the next day here, and I'm gonna dump this out. Let's see what this looks like. It looks like some might have leaked out. Took quite a bit of rust off on there. All right, let's get this dumped out and flushed out here. Okay, I just got done flushing it out with baking soda and water, and it did a pretty good job. It's pretty much cleaned out. Flushed it out, and I'm gonna get some fuel in there, slosh it around a little bit, try to prevent some flash rusting that might happen. But I'll run a fuel filter, of course, and we should be in good shape. So I guess next I'm gonna take off the front fender and the rear, get a fresh coat of paint on those. We're waiting for the fuel tank to kind of dry out, and just kind of spruce it up a little bit. Fresh paint on that will make this thing look 10 times better. Here's the finished product. Looking way better than it did before. Get this mounted back up on the bike, and I'm gonna put that tail light on. We'll see how she looks. So before I do that, I'm gonna put the carb into the ultrasonic here, and it's gonna completely disassemble it, get it down to where everything's open, and just give this a deeper clean, and let this run with heat, and as long as it's gonna go. Okay, we got that completely submerged. If anybody's wondering what solution this is just Pine Sol and a little bit of dish soap. I've had pretty good luck with that, so I just kind of stuck with it. I'm sure there's better stuff out there. If you know of any good solutions that don't turn carburetors black, because if you try to use Simple Green, it will do that. I know they make a purple Simple Green that is supposed to not stain the like the pot metal, but I've been sticking with this and it's been working good, so I'm open to suggestions though. All right, this has been cooking for a little while here. I'm gonna see how she came out. It's pretty hot, so I'm just gonna kind of slowly pull this out. Get this rinsed off and see what we're working with here. This came pretty clean. Probably should have just dunked it from the get-go, because it did a really good job on the bowl. I'm sure the internals on here. I already got it sprayed out with carb cleaner and used air lines on all the passages there for the idle air circuit and all that stuff. So probably should have just done that from the get-go. It just looked like it was clean enough, but you never know what's going on inside these passages that you can't see. So we're gonna get this back together and on the bike, and hopefully it'll run a little bit better this time. Okay, we got the tank all cleaned out, dried up and everything, so we're ready to put the petcock back on and throw it back on the bike too. I'm gonna cut this and put a fuel filter on here too. I'll say right about there. And before we throw the tank on, I'm going to address the coil wire here that was just tied up together. So we're going to undo this. Get this cleaned up, straightened out. I'm going to use one of these shrink tubes that you slip over it and joins together. You get a heat gun on there and it will shrink it and melt that solder that's in the middle, and joins it together and keeps it pretty tight. We're gonna try that right there. Get a heat gun on this. Let's see how that works. Okay, let that cool off. Just looking at it close, you can see the wires are joined up, and this is on there pretty sturdy. So we're going to hook this back up. And now we're ready for the tank. Okay, well I got this rolled outside so you can get a better look at the paint job, the finished product. Fender came out really nice. Way better than it did look before. Rear fender, we got the tail light mounted up. I got it wired together, but there's no bulb in there, so it's just kind of there for decoration at the moment. Also got the headlight hooked up. The bulb is dead, but that's in there just because the wiring kind of needs that in there to be held in place with that little spring-loaded socket. So also just kind of decoration right now. Fuel tank, really couldn't do much with this. The paint I used to try to touch up those gouges really didn't match too well, but you know, from 20 feet away, it looks way better than looking at rusty scratches in there, so that'll work for now. I also found a skid plate for this thing online. Bolted up perfectly. I just used a couple leftover bolts I had, fitting there just right. So we are pretty much 100% complete with this bike now. So actually, really the only thing that doesn't make this complete is I'm missing these side panels here that go in between the seat and the side cover. I saw a couple on eBay that were ridiculously priced. We got the clips right here for it, so I'm not even gonna bother buying those because they were like close to $200 for 2 pieces of plastic strips that really don't matter. We just kind of finished the look of it, but I think it looks fine the way it is. I got the front brakes situated. I didn't bother filming this because it was this just needed adjusted, so really not a big deal. We got working front brakes. And I think we're ready to put fuel in there now, and hopefully nothing leaks. I didn't get a chance to test this fuel petcock, but we got that carburetor back in, and after an ultrasonic clean, so it's a deep clean now. Hopefully it'll idle now. So we're gonna throw some fuel in and fire this thing back up. Okay, no signs of fuel leaking. Let's check the other side. We'll turn the petcock on. Yep, looks dry. Okay, we are currently off. Let's just turn this to on. Okay, that's good. Nothing leaking. All right, let's start kicking. Take the spring off of the idle screw. It wasn't letting it go up high enough to push up on the butterfly assembly here, so I don't know if it's worn out in there, but it was screwed all the way in and it wasn't really moving this at all. So quick fix, I just took that out for now. I'm going to figure something out, but it's at least idling now. We don't have any fuel leaking. It sounds really good. I think I'm out 2 turns out on the air screw, and on the fuel screw I think I'm 3 turns out, which is the one that's up underneath of there you can't really see, so I'm going to leave that alone for now. It's working pretty good. I'm going to take it for a little ride. Alright, let's see how she goes. Back on, run position. Alright, still idling nice, starts up nice and easy. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to take it easy on the road a little bit, make sure it shifts okay. Everything felt okay when I was just kind of pushing it in gear and shifting it. You really don't know until you get on it. Front brake working good. Got a back brake. Okay, I think we're set. Let's go uphill first. Oh, wow. Very smooth. Wow, this thing's really smooth. Takes off pretty good too. That's 3rd gear. Alright, a little further. This thing is super quiet too. Apparently this thing even runs. working good. Shifting through the gears okay too. We're not, doesn't feel like we're slipping or anything yet. That's good. Wow, this thing accelerates nice. Fifth gear, I think it's a 5-speed. Yeah, this thing runs nice. Well, let's just go to the trails. I'm feeling pretty confident. Oh yeah, lots of grunt. That's fourth gear going up this hill. Can't get over how smooth this thing is. Okay, let's see how it does. Thing is whisper quiet. Stealthy bike. This is perfect for back here because we're close to home. Front end come up easier than I expected too. Wow. Trees down here. Ways to get around them now. Yeah, see, you can't see all the trees that's down. This thing takes off pretty good. I was expecting it to be more lumbering of a, old school four-stroke, but this thing actually takes off pretty decent. Wow! The front end came up. I was not expecting that. I jammed the brakes on and she stalled out on me. That was my fault. I'm going to turn that idle up a little bit. Okay. Definitely feel this thing's weight back here. Not a nimble bike, but it's a fun cruiser, I gotta say. Comfortable. Cruising in third gear right now.
definitely a tank. This thing is definitely a tank back here, but the weight actually kind of works in its favor in this rocky stuff. It just kind of plows its way through everything. You don't feel it. Yeah, we're not doing any jumps today on this thing. Using the engine just to break down here. It's got so much compression. Try to hit some single track up here. Tons of torque. So much torque. You got all that down low. Kind of signs off after mid-range, but this kind of stuff you don't really need. That kind of power. Perfect for just cruising around back here, keeping things quiet. Fuel leaking, still got brakes, feels pretty good. All right, turn that down a little bit. Surprised, third gear, it takes off pretty decent. You roll into the throttle and it accelerates faster than you think it would. Quick work of those little steep inclines. Second gear, basically idling up that stuff. Front forks really don't have much rebound control. They're just kind of pogoing on me a little bit, but what do you expect? Got a stick cut in there. I think I grabbed hold of the shifter there for a second. Cruiser. trailblazing here. This thing is a tank. Just knocking trees over. Didn't even flinch. Like a juggernaut back here. Well, the DR370 is a runner. Runs pretty good, actually. I was really surprised with the a little bit of acceleration right off the get-go. You know, obviously it runs out of steam pretty quick. Not really a high rever, but it's got some really good pull down low. This thing has a ton of torque. Definitely a stump puller, and like people say, this thing could probably climb a tree if it had the traction. I do have to adjust the idle a little bit. Like I was saying, the screw, I took the spring out, which probably isn't the best idea right now because it wants to work its way loose. So I have to constantly keep turning that in and make sure I don't lose that. And I'm going to put that spring back in there to keep some tension on there. Maybe cut it, because when it was in there, I couldn't screw it far enough in to keep the idle high enough. I just kept closing the slide. So just got to figure something out with that. Other than that, though, brakes work good. It's shifted. Suspension's decent. The rear works actually pretty good still. The front, pogoing on me quite a bit. Might just need an oil change with the forks, but you know, you can't expect much with that suspension. It works good for what it was intended for. It's a great cruiser back here. Real comfortable bike. It's a lot like riding a tractor, I'd say. It's just very heavy. You can feel that weight, and it just kind of just goes where it wants. And you know, if you come across like a section of big rocks and ruts and stuff, you just kind of point it and hold the throttle open, and it'll work its way through it. It's just got enough weight to it to where it just juggernauts its way through. I don't know if you noticed, but I knocked that tree over with the handlebar. Just plowed into it, and it just knocked the tree right over and didn't even make the bike stutter at all. It just kept going. You know, classic thumper. A lot like an XL350 from what I recall when I've had mine back in the woods, and just a fun cruiser bike. So I still got to get it over to my trails. This is just my trails near my house. I got to get over to the big trails where we do the more serious trail videos, and we'll see how it performs over there. I don't think I'm going to do the 10 miler on this. I'll do parts of it, but I don't want to risk smashing that tank in and breaking the fender. You know, things are really hard to find parts for, actually, so I don't want to abuse it too much, but I will enjoy it. So stay tuned for that video. I don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully by the end of the fall, I'll have that over there, and we'll do some cruising on the big trails with this bike, because I think it'll do pretty well over there. It handles this stuff no problem, but I just don't expect to go real fast on it. That's all. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll give you some bonus footage on the way home out of here. I'll try to rev it out on the road a little bit so you can get a feel for its top speed and how it feels when it's revving out. So stick with me here a little bit longer, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, as we head out of here, there is one hill climb I want to try. It's real twisty. You don't get much run out at all. It's more of like a torquey, you got to torque your way up the hill kind of a thing. So I want to hit that before we hit the road. So we're going to go that way, but I think the tree's down, so we're going to have to go around to hit it. So stick with me. We'll hit that, and then we'll hit the road. There's the chain in the tree still. It's been there for almost 2 years. That was from that other Suzuki I had. Snapped the chain on this hill. Hopefully we don't recreate that. Pushing this thing out of here would not be fun. That was just a PS 185 that broke that, so that was a little light bike. This one, on the other hand, is not so light. I'm just going to crawl up it first. Just idles up stuff.